How are you? Monday morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, December the 23rd, 2024. Lefty O'Doul. Have you heard of him? Played 11 years in baseball. 349 career batting average. How did he do that? I've been covering his career from 1919 through 1934. He played a couple years, then he missed a couple years. Then he was on, and then he was off. Between 1923 and 1928, the 1924, 25, 26, and 27 didn't even play. Came back, started playing baseball in 1928. Batted 319. Okay, 113 hits. Then all of a sudden, the 1929 season becomes one of the greatest hitting seasons of all time by a baseball player. Now think, 15,000 Major League Baseball players have passed through the big leagues since 1870 until now, 2024, which is like, what, 154 years? The 1929 season of Lefty O'Doul, of all guys, becomes one of the greatest hitting seasons of all time. Two other guys matched what he did. Only there's three guys in Major League history did what Lefty O'Doul did in 1929. George Sisler and Bill Terry. And Lefty O'Doul is the third guy. What did he do? Well, played 154 games. Okay, that's not the highlight. He played every day, though. That's significant. He had 638 at-bats. He had 152 runs scored. Okay, that's not a record, but it's significant. He had 254 hits. I will repeat that. 254 hits. How many guys in Major League history have 254 or more hits in a season? 3. But I'm going to focus on the 2 that did it in 154 games. Now, Ichiro Suzuki had 262 hits in a season, but it was a 162-game season. And by game 154, Ichiro had 249 hits. I looked it up. Look up his box score for that year. So I'm not going to count them. I'm counting 3 guys in a 154-game season who had 254 or more hits. George Sisler had 257. Bill Terry had 254. And Lefty O'Doul is the third guy in a 154-game season with 254 hits. So he had 35 doubles, 6 triples, 32 homers. It's a good stat, 32 homers. 122 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 76 walks. He bats 398. Oh, man, just short of 400. 465 on base. That's really high, 46% of the time. 622 slugging, and he had 397 total bases, just shy of 400. How about 254 hits? That's what I said when I made the proclamation in the beginning of the video, that Lefty O'Doul had one of the greatest hitting seasons of all time. Only 3 guys in a 154-game season, 254 or more hits. George Sisler had 257 in 1920, right? Let's look it up. George Sisler. Got him here. I believe it was 1920. I am correct. 257 games. He played 154 games. He batted 407. How about that? The other guy, Bill Terry, right? I mentioned. Let's put in Bill Terry. Bill T. Here he is. Got him. 1930 season. Isn't that interesting? Lefty O'Doul in 1929, 254 hits. The next season, 1930, Bill Terry says, hey, I'll do it. 254 hits. He played every game. He batted 401. Did you know there are only 2 guys in Major League history to have 254 or more hits and bat 400? George Sisler batted 401, had 257 hits. Bill Terry batted 401 and had 254 hits. 2 guys in major out of 15,000. Out of 154 years in baseball, only 2. And then there's 3 guys in a 154 game season, 254 more hit, and Lefty O'Doul is the 3rd guy. He batted 398. He didn't do the 400th batting season. How about that? So would you agree with me that Lefty O'Doul's 1929 season has to go down as one of the greatest hitting seasons of all time, 398. Now, there are guys who have bat higher for the season. Hugh Duffy, 440. How many hits did he have? He didn't have 254 hits. I'm counting. I'm focusing on hits. So Hugh Duffy. All right, I'll give you the stat. Let's look him up. He holds the record, right? Best batting season of all time. Hugh Duffy. Let's see. Got him. When he batted 440, how many hits did he have? 237. See, didn't get to the 254. I'm talking about hits. George Sisler, Bill Terry, and Lefty O'Doul, 254 or more hits. Now, there's other guys who have career higher averages than Lefty O'Doul did in 398. But how many hits do they have? All right, let's look at these guys. Career batting average leaders. We'll go to that. We'll go to single season. Okay, so as far as record holders, next guy on the list would be as far as playing in the major leagues, not in the Negro Leagues. Negro Leagues, they didn't play enough games. For example, they say that Josh Gibson hit 466 one year. But I looked it up. You know how many games? And how many hits? Only 46 games. Come on. And he had 116 hits. No, excuse me. When he batted 466, he played 69 games. Okay, my error. But he only had 116 hits, way short of the 254, right? So I'm not going to count the Negro League averages for a single season. I'm going to go with Hugh Duffy's 440. Next on the list, as far as highest batting average, you got a Ross Barnes hit 427 one year. You remember Ross Barnes? It was only 66 games. See? So it doesn't count to me. The only other guy you can consider here would be like a Nap Lajoie. How many hits did he have? He batted a 426 one year. He had 232 hits. See, he didn't get to the 254. That's what I'm focusing on. The other guy you can consider on the list, Willie Keeler, had 424, and so did Rogers Hornsby. Keeler had 239 hits, and then Hornsby had 250. So Hornsby came closest. Yeah, he had 250 hits. No, the year he batted 424, he had 227 hits. He had 250 hit season, but he only batted 401. Only, I'm saying. What's my point? Here's the point I'm focusing on. Which three players in Major League history have a season of 254 or more hits in 1 year? The answer? In a 154 game season. Forget the 162 game season of Ichiro Suzuki. He had 8 more games, and on game number 154, he was standing at 249 hits. I looked it up. You can look it up yourself. Look up his season. Look up game 154. How many hits did he have at that point? Ichiro had 249. I'm not counting him. Sorry, Ichiro. The answer to my question, which three players in a 154 game season had the most hits? Only 3. George Sisler's 257 in 1920. Bill Terry's 254 in 1930. And Lefty O'Doul, 254 in 1929. How about that? And he bats 398. So only 2 guys have batted 400 and had 254 or more hits. And that would be Bill Terry and George Sisler. How'd you like to be in that company? Now you know why I'm covering Lefty O'Doul on these videos. For a guy to produce one of the greatest hitting seasons of all time, you cannot ignore it, and you have to take note of it. And that's what I did. All right, the next video for Lefty O'Doul will be 1930. We'll continue looking at his career through 1934. Then we'll rank him. Where does he rank among the greatest hitters of all time? I'm out.